I'm going to tell you something now. You're going to have to find out yourself. If you can, you are Cindy. I have some, I think it's great-grandchildren, or great-great-grandchildren. No, that's great-grandchildren. That I don't know the name. Tina Fernandez, little boy. I don't know his name. I don't believe Julian gave me his name, tell you the truth. Okay. Carol children, her sister, she's got 3 children. Caroline. I don't know their name.
The oldest little girl's name's Alexis.
That's far. Now I'm going to tell you another one.
Jack's
not
grandchildren.
Cindy, not Cindy. Your cousin.
Gwen, you talking about?
Gwen.
Gwen has a little boy and her brother.
And a little girl.
Gwen
She got
has
it.
2
The
children.
first one is a little girl, I think.
She has 2 children.
Yeah, she got 2 children
And
now.
Kevin has
Because
3. Kevin has 3.
Yeah, I know he's got 3. I don't know their name.
I don't either.
You see, that's what I mean. Those, I don't know their name.
The little girl she named after her grandmother, her name's Elizabeth. You know Terry's mother, Mrs. Starling?
Yeah.
The little girl's named after her because I do
Oh.
remember seeing that in the paper. Her name's Elizabeth.
I remember you used to be there. I remember that for the shower. The shower of the baby.
What are Julian's children's names?
Julian children. Julian got Jackson. His name is Jack anyway. Jack and David and Michael and Caroline. Caroline is not there, not Caroline. No, his first daughter was Caroline, the one with but that one is Caroline. It's all in one, you know, with the Y.
Oh, I thought she had the same name.
No, I thought so too. When Julian told me, I was stunned when he told me the name of that little girl. And he said, Mama, it's not Caroline. That's Caroline Lynn.
So Carol Ann was his daughter that died?
Caroline, yes. The girl died. But he's got another Caroline.
What was Michael's twin?
Patrick.
Michael.
Patrick?
Patrick.
So he just has 3 children that are living?
Christina.
Oh, Christine.
He's got his 2 daughters and he's got 3
3
boys.
sons.
He's got 5 children alive.
Okay, Christina.
You see, he's got David. He said David is in, he told me, I think it's in Georgia. And he got his little boy with him. His mother didn't want the little boy to go with his daddy for Christmas. Not last Christmas, but the Christmas before. And the little boy ran away, or what I know, and he went to his daddy. And he's with his daddy as far as I know. But I don't believe he talked to Julian. He was working with for the company, and he went and cut his finger. That was not Julian's fault. That's a cinch. But I reckon something he didn't like, I don't know. And it's funny anyhow. It's been very peculiar all his life. It's a funny thing, but that's the truth.
What are Jack's children's names?
Jack children, that's
Robert?
Gwen and Robert. Gwen is the oldest.
Mhm.
And Robert and Calvin. That's his children.
And Michael just has one child, Tara, right?
And Michael got just one tower. T-A-R-A. That's it.
How about David? Does he have
Huh?
Does David have any children?
David's got one. His name is Patrick. That I know that. He named it after his brother.
And how about Christina?
Tina, I don't know the baby's name.
She
Oh,
doesn't know Tina or Caroline's children's name.
okay.
And the other one, Caroline, I don't know it. She got 3 children.
Do you know Carol Ann's last name?
She's remarried. I think she's remarried or will be remarried. She's remarried. She live in California. But I forgot. She married, let me see now. She married an Italian. Is it an Italian? No, that's Tina. Tina married an Italian. I believe Caroline married one too. Married some foreign. But I don't know their name. Very seldom I saw those kids anyway.
Yeah.
And poor little Tina, she just, I saw her the last time was when she got married.
When you gonna hang your picture up?
Hmm?
I said, when are you gonna hang your picture? The picture Dad gave you for Christmas, have you hung it up?
I'm supposed to have somebody, that's another thing that I don't have no, you see when Howard come, but Howard don't come no more like he used to. Rita said I should put it right here, because she said those others, they all match, but she said those don't. And she said for her taste, she said she think that would be the best place to put it right there.
Where do you want it?
Huh?
I said, where do you want it?
Oh, it's okay to me. Because you
thought-
see the,
I thought Papa was gonna hang it for you.
who?
Papa Beverly. I thought he was gonna hang it up for you.
Look, Rita do more of those things that you Papa. Remember, he's suffering with his arm. I was wondering this today. I was thinking, I bet she's making him go and work in the garden. And he showed us when he was showing. I didn't know that. He's got a big hole there, and he got just one muscle. I never did know that. He's got 2 spurs on his shoulders coming out of his bone. And he was supposed to go last Monday to New Orleans for his heart, go and see, he goes so many, I think it's every 3 months that he goes see Dr. Levy. And he was going to ask him the name of a doctor who do some kind of surgery, because those are very, very painful. Those, what you call it, those spurs. That bone come from your bone. Mammy's got that in her spine. Mammy Varisco. She got that in her spine. Now Julian, when he went to war, for the second war, when he went in the army, he got some underneath, he had one underneath of one foot. Well, they cut it over there in the army, and as far as I know, it didn't come back. I don't know. Julian is a person, you don't know if he's sick or well. He's always well. As a kid, it was the same thing. I never didn't know when he was sick.
Just ask her about
George.
George. I know the other ones.
How about George's children?
George's children, he has 2 daughters, Jenny and Becky. And he has 4 grandchildren. Now I know the name of 2. I don't remember the name of the 2 others. He has 4 grandchildren.
Are they Jenny's or Becky's? The two.
Jenny's got 2.
Do you know their
But
names?
the Jenny got 2 children and the Becky's got 2. Now Jenny's got a boy and a girl. But for me to tell you their name, my Lord, I'll be killed. Because I don't remember their name. Now I know the name of Becky. One is Chris is the oldest, and the other one is Scott.
Are they married?
Oh, that's little
They're
kids.
little kids.
Okay.
That's little kids.
Jenny and Becky aren't much older than me.
Oh, okay.
That's George's daughter. Well, the little girl must be about maybe 14. I don't believe she's 15. But I forgot her name. And the little boy, I couldn't say what's his name. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're supposed to come from Chicago. I think it's this month or next month.
Mm-hmm.
They're supposed to come, I think, for a week. All of them.
Does Donna have any children?
Becky's daughter? No, she's expecting.
No, yours, you know, I don't know how many great grandchildren except for little what's her name now? Ashley.
Ashley
Yeah.
and Gwen and Kevin's children are your great-great-grandchildren.
They're just the great grandchildren, but
Huh?
the other one, little
Ashley's the same.
Ashley is the great.
Mm-mm. Gina's your great-granddaughter.
Huh?
Gina is your great-granddaughter.
Who?
Gina.
Gina is my great granddaughter,
So
and my
Ashley-
daughter is a great granddaughter.
Right.
You see?
Gwen is your great-granddaughter.
Who?
Gwen.
Yes.
So her children are your
Great
great-great-granddaughter.
granddaughter. They get just a great granddaughter because she's my granddaughter.
Gwen, no. Her daddy's your grandson.
That's
Jack.
right. You're right. You're right, baby.
You have too
Jack
many.
is my grandson,
Mm-hmm.
and her daughter is my great granddaughter, and like you
Right. Right.
my great granddaughter.
Right.
Okay. And her children are my great grandchildren.
Right.
And the other one too, the boy.
Kevin too. That's right.
That's right.
So you have
No.
6 great-great-grandchildren.
Now David's got one boy, you know. I told you Patrick.
Yeah.
That's his name. I remember that. He was a good-looking child, pretty little boy, but I know he must be, I don't know how old he must be, that child. I bet you he must be a young man.
Jack's got another son, doesn't he? From
Who?
Jack from his second marriage.
Oh, yes, my God.
He's about 13.
Wait a minute, now what's his name? I think it's Jason.
That sounds right. And isn't he about 12 or 13?
He must be about that age.
About the same as Clint, I
That's,
think.
you know, the great-grandson.
Mm-hmm.
You're right. I had forgotten about that. Jack got the... Gwen and Robert and Kevin and that but Jason. That's what is his name. His name is Jason.
Okay.
How many great-grandchildren I have?
You counted Morgan, Gina, and Janet.
I must have around 30, huh?
Tina just has one.
Yeah, just one child.
Carolyn has 2.
3.
Don't forget, Ecky's got one too, you know.
Yeah, Chase.
Ecky's got Chase. And Simon's got 4 grandchildren.
Okay.
You
She's
see?
got 1, 4, 6, 5, is 9.
She's got
10.
Shannon and Sean and Hassan and Hamid.
You have 27 great-grandchildren.
And
27.
2 more on the way.
And I got 2 others on the way.
So you'll have 29. And let's see, 1. How many children does Kevin
And I bet you Dixie it wouldn't surprise me that she's gonna want another one too.
How many does Glenn have?
2.
Maybe not, it just depends. And she was telling me of a wedding. She said, you know, my fiancé never been married. And she said, of course, for his first wedding, now wait a minute now, what is it now? He's a foreigner too. What in the name of Christmas, she said? They live in California. It's a mixture, as everything else. All our family is a mixture, except me. I'm no mixture. I'm French, period. That's it. My nationality. Let me see now. I think his daddy is French. Only got French in that. French and Spanish. And the mother is Italian. Anyhow, they're supposed to get married in June. So I imagine that's why her mama and her, they all, and that's going to be, it's going to be in June, it's going to be at one of her friends' house. If the weather is pretty, it's going to be in the yard, you know, in the open. That's where Ginger and Jet, that's how they had a great big wedding. But that was a big, big wedding. I didn't go. But Miss Smith went. But that was outside. The mother's a beautiful home somewhere around Dallas. I don't know where, in the country or what I know. Anyhow, she's supposed not to have too many guests, about 20. So Donna told her mother, she said, Lord, this year that's going to be a exciting year. Going to have 2 babies, a wedding, and a graduation.
It's going to be a busy year.
Huh?
I said it's going to be a busy year.
And he said, Mama, I asked for a week of vacation. And she said, usually in May you don't get no vacation because that's the time that she's the most occupied. Because that's the time the children are out. And that's where she got to plan plenty vacation and programs. And she said, but they're so excited about me graduate. She said that they say, oh yes, we let you have a week of vacation.
Well, that's good.
I was wrong. You have 26 great-grandchildren.
I got just 26.
Just 26. And you have 6 great-great-grandchildren.
Well, oh, I wanted to tell you something. Julian and I, we were talking, money came and bought me that. And I was talking about you all. And I was telling him that you all could not have no children. And that you all wanted to adopt one. But you all got, they changed their mind, they gave it to somebody else. He said, well, Mama, he said, my partner, and that's not an old man, no, that's a young man. I mean, young, not young, but he might be maybe 35. Maybe 35. I don't believe he's no older than that, 35 or maybe 38, I don't know. But I know he's got plenty of money. Anyhow, he said his wife cannot have no children, and they wanted a child. So they tried to, one agency, and they say they couldn't get no results. So he keep on, he didn't go to just the one place. They went and advertised for four places. And the one they have, they were waiting for it that day. He said they got it through the Catholic
Charities.
yeah. And he said, Mama, tell them not to go just to one place. He said they got plenty of orders. And I know if he would ask, if they would ask the man, all the place that he, advertised, that they would find results. He said, they can ask you, and he said, or you could ask them. They have their headquarters in New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked to them, they said it takes about 5 years.
Uh-huh.
I said, we've talked to them and they said you have to wait about 5 years. You have to be on there, they have a long waiting list. And it takes about 5 years to get a baby through them. And it costs...
Yeah, but you has just one company.
No. We've asked several of them, and they all tell you about the same thing, and it costs about $10,000.
I don't know.
It's not cheap.
How many children does Simone have?
Wayne,
I don't understand how they can go and cost that much.
Because the agency charges a fee,
And lawyers?
and the lawyers charge a fee, and they have to pay the girls' hospital bills. And
Yeah,
the
but the
agents-
doctor bill, it can't be that much.
No, it's not that much, but the lawyers and the agency wanna make money off of it. This is a business for them, and they're making money.
My God in mercy.
It's just like that little girl that we were supposed to adopt her baby last year. She sold him. Somebody gave her enough money to buy her a car. So that's why she didn't want to give him to us, because she found somebody to buy him.
And so many kids.
Mm-hmm.
So many kids are shoved in the orphanage. So many kids.
Mm-hmm.
But you see, they have some game. I'm not joking, no. I don't know about the white people, but I know about the black. And I imagine it's the same thing with the white people too. Some of them. It's a racket. They go and they have babies. First thing you know, they go to the welfare
Mm-hmm.
and they get support for that child.
Mm-hmm.
They get another one after, And another one after, another one.
To get more money.
That's right.
They sure do.
Of that I know, positively. Because I know Willie's got a sister here in Franklin.
She does that?
One of her daughter, not her,
Oh.
one of her daughter got 5 children. And she's not well. And the mother, which is Willie's sister, got them right there in Franklin. She sent them to school. She's been living there for I don't know how many years. They can keep those kids until they're 16 at least, or 18. I think the government pay them. That's why they have all those kids. And I bet you some of the breed of the people, the white people, do the same.
They do.
And that's why you don't get no children. Because they make money, they get, that's a racket. That's the truth.
Mm.
It's a sin and a shame, but that's the truth.
That's right. I have a rundown on your family.
Huh?
You have 5 children,
Yeah.
17 grandchildren. 3 of your grandchildren are deceased, so you have
Yeah.
14 living grandchildren,
That's fine.
26 great grandchildren,
Mm-hmm.
and 6 great great grandchildren. You've had a busy life.
You're right, I have a busy life. Ah, shucks. Well, the government didn't give me no penny for any. That's it. I guarantee you I had to work for it. Yes, sir. Yeah, I know I got a big family. My brother can't get over that. Because already got, he had 2 children. And he's got 5 grandchildren. Two children. A boy and a girl. And he got just one. They don't have no Forrestier. The son got 2 daughters. And he's divorced with his wife. Unless remarried. And he has, the child, it would be a boy. Well, they let me know the Forrestier, but otherwise the Forrestier line is dead. My daddy was the only one, and he had just one son.
Do you have any sisters?
Yes, I had a sister. But she died about 2-3 years before I went back to France. She was crippled too. Not crippled by birth, no. When she was 2 years old, she fell on a piece of, what you put in the front door there, at the bottom there. And that was in metal. And she fell on that and she hurt her knee. And the doctor they had put her in plaster. She was in plaster from her foot to the hip. And of course I don't remember because they shipped me off to my older grandma, you see. But my mother used to say that my sister used to pull her hair. She was screaming and screaming and screaming. And they didn't know what to do with it because she was in they couldn't do nothing. She was in a plaster palace. And finally, I don't know how many weeks she stayed like that. And finally, they went and complained to the doctor. And he went and he cut that. And when he cut that, her knee busted out. It was infected, you see. They didn't have no good doctor like they used to, no. And that was a big city, but it didn't make no difference. And so my sister used to walk just with the one leg stiff, you know.
Mhm.
And I don't know how old I was or she was. We were living in a two-story house, three-story house. Because my daddy used to rent some light housekeeping. They had two women living alone in one room. They used to give just one room. And anyway, the room where we were, the bedroom where we were, it was wax. And my mother had put by the bed, she had put little rugs, you know. And she had tried to remove all the wax, but she couldn't. So they had a book, I don't remember what kind of book, on the night table. And I always been frisky anyway. And as I say, I don't remember how old I was. I don't know if I was 5, if I was 4, or maybe 6. I can't tell you. No, no more than that, I know. She wanted the book, I wanted the book. So I started to run. Well, I ran faster than her. And I left you know when they got a rug. Okay, I passed over the rug, and I left the rug right there, and she was starting on the rug. Well, the thing slid with her, and she broke a hip.
Hmm.
So she had to wear a brace. When I left her, when she was 20 years old, she had a brace. Because they didn't do nothing like they used to now. They put a brace to hold that hip together, and that was it.
Hmm. Did she marry?
No. She had a boyfriend. At that time, that was in the war. It was a French soldier. When the war started, and you see, we were right there where they had every kind of soldiers.
Mm-hmm.
I was born and raised with soldiers. We had 2 regiments of soldiers, plus we had a school of officers. The Marine officers and the infantry officers. And we were living in Main Street. And every evening at 5 o'clock, the street were full of soldiers. That's how I met your great-grandfather, anyway. But anyhow, you see, if they come from, you know, the place, you know, the regiment, they know the place anyway. The government was giving, they call that a billet, a piece of paper, and you have to room that soldier as long as that squadrons was going to stay there for the maneuvers, you see. And you had to, you didn't have to feed them, they came to sleep. And that's how she made him. She used to, my grandfather and grandmother, help, I imagine. As I say, I don't remember those things because I didn't stay there. I went to my older grandma who was in another city. And but they used to take care of her more. You know, my grandfather used to come and pick her up at our house for lunch and for supper. And they used to go and get her at school, go and bring her back at school. And then for supper, after school, she was going to go to my grandpa and grandma. And then when it was time for supper, they were going to give her supper with them, you know. And then they used to bring her back to our house with twin beds, her and I. And they did that ever since I can remember, when she was a little bit of girl.
Mhm.
But she was crippled. But my brother was crippled by birth.
Mhm.
He didn't have any hole in the bones of the hip.
Mhm.
And they brought him to, I don't know how many cities they went into it. I don't know how many doctors. But all what they said, that he had to have surgery. My daddy didn't want. My mother wanted. My daddy didn't want. His mother didn't want. I wanted. I was like my mother. They say that if he didn't have surgery, he wouldn't be able to keep on walking. He'll have to stay in a wheelchair all the rest of his life. And I knew and I understood that was the truth.
Mhm.
So the war came, and they keep on going from one doctor to another. They told him the same thing. Finally, my mother put her foot down. She said, anyhow you want or don't want, it's going to be. We're going to try that. And I was 18 at that time. And all the hospital was closed. Didn't have no doctors. They had an army doctor. He was a major, and he was in the army. And they had a preacher. And those preachers that was not a self-made preacher. He had been going to seminary, regardless if it was Lutheran or Baptist, whatever it was. They had to go. It's not like here in the United States, anybody can go and preach. But they didn't do that. So that was the helper for the doctor. He had that done in our bedroom, in my daddy and mama bedroom, on a table. Me giving him the ether.
Mhm.
You hear me?
Yes,
Me.
ma'am.
At the head, with a mask. And my grandpa and my aunt helped because her husband was in the war, and she had a business also, and she had a young man to help her. So he was holding the other help. My daddy was running the street, him. Didn't want to hear nothing. My mother was in the kitchen or the dining room. She was downstairs. I was the only one with him. And you see, they say if he was 10 years old, 9 years old. They say if they wait until he was 10, it was not going to do. He should have had that done before. Because as long as you're not 10, your bones are still soft. And they had to make holes for the tissue to grow, you see. So my brother was put up in plaster Paris after they had bored as much as they could to make a hole in that bone, in each side. And he was like that, his legs like that, for 6 months. Not 1 month, no, 6 months. On his back, and the only one was picking him up, it was me. I used to put him across my stomach when he was too tired to be on his back. And I used to walk in the room. He couldn't pass nowhere. Couldn't pass through the door. No child of 9 years old is not small. Their legs are big. I mean long. And I used to hold him a while, as long as I could walk, then put him back in bed and try to play with him. And after the 6 months, that same doctor came and that same preacher came and my grandfather and the help and me. They removed that, because you see in 6 months the tissue it starts to grow, you know that. And they took his legs and they put him straight. And he stayed 3 months. I couldn't carry him. He stayed 3 months with his legs straight like that. After that, he had to learn how to walk. But at least he made a living. He's better off than me, I can tell you that much. Not better off than me, because he got money which I don't have now. My brother used to come and that he was an upholsterer and they used to make drapes and curtains, and he had to come to go and take the measure, and he had to, that was the kind of work he was doing. They had all the frames and that was all. That's what an upholsterer do. He tried to make his son do the same thing, but his son was not interested. Anyhow, they don't need no more upholsterer. You can buy it already made. That's it. And he had two big stores together, two. He used to sell the material, and my sister-in-law used to have 5 and 6 girls working and make drapes and cornice, all of that. That's it. But he surely made a good living for himself, I can tell you that much. And now he was crippled. Not crippled to say crippled. He was suffering with his leg. He had something like arthritis, but he was walking. They got a man like that. What you call him? When I say him, I remind me of my poor brother. Before he was operated on, he used to go to the brother school. My mother used to bring him to school in the morning. He was going to make about 10 steps. She used to have to carry him. And when she was tired, she used to put him down, let him walk again, and that's how you used to do. She used to go and get him for lunch too. Then at lunchtime, she was going to go and bring him back, but at 4 o'clock, I used to go myself. I used to carry him. I had a miserable life, girl, I can tell you that much if you don't know it. So I know they got a girl, she's a black girl. Maybe I told you all. Her mother came the other day, she's a teacher at the high school. I say, Ernestine, did you hear from your daughter? She said, no ma'am. I don't know where she, I know she is over there in the middle of everything. I don't know where she is. And you don't know how it made me feel. Because I know what war is.
I met her at the hospital.
Huh?
I met Miss Ernestine at the hospital.
That's right.
Mhm.
That's exactly right. That's the one. Do you know she never did hear from her daughter yet? She doesn't know where they signed her. She might be missing. She
Well-
doesn't know.
If she was missing or dead, they would tell her that by now.
Well, she's not dead because they would tell her, like you said.
Right.
If they know. You know.
I'm sure she's all right. They have a lot of soldiers that are still there and some that are still coming home and stuff like that. So
But you see, she can't call. That's the trouble.
Right.
She can't call.